with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone could remain standing, we can have a moment of silence in honor of our troops who are serving overseas and for those who have lost their lives defending our freedoms. Thank you. If everyone could please be seated. Okay. Good evening, everybody. The first item on the agenda is to set the date and time for the village organizational meeting, which will be held on Monday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. The board meeting will follow right thereafter at 7:30 p.m. Fire Department, Chief Stark.
Good evening, Mayor and Village Board. I have two items on the agenda this evening. The first one is for permission for the Fire Department to attend the Wallington, New Jersey holiday parade on November 24th. And the second item is to attend the Orangeburg holiday parade on December 15th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Mr. Mayor, I put together I know this is not on the agenda, it's something I did last minute today about the Hurricane Sandy overview, if I can just have a minute to read it.
You guys did an excellent job.
First of all, I hope everyone here in the room at least got their power back today. No. No? Okay, hopefully soon. I know I was out for almost 3.5 days myself, so, and believe me, I feel for you. Excuse me. The fire department decided after numerous meetings at the county that we decided we should have a unified command. So a meeting was scheduled here at the Village Hall with the mayor's office, the police chief, DPW, and numerous other village officials, along with the fire department at 4:30 on Friday afternoon. We then started planning for Hurricane Sandy, which would later be called a superstorm. We filled many sections of the incident command. Our support section, Jesse Miller from the hose company, served approximately 600 meals at the volunteer hose company over the course of 2.5 days. That was for the fire department, the police department, and the DPW. Our logistics section, Jeremy Calfer, who's also a police dispatcher here for the village, filled out numerous 213s, which is a form to request, officially request equipment and supplies from the county. Our community center was open and closed and opened and closed, thanks to Gail and her staff. Suffern Fire Department had a planning meeting early Sunday morning, which most of its members attended along with the mutual aid chiefs, including Marlborough, New Jersey. Our first operational period started on October 29th at 9 p.m. and it ended on October 30th at 8 p.m. We had members at the firehouse all night in both firehouses. Our second operational period went from 10:30 at 8 p.m. to 10:31 at 8 p.m. During the two operational periods, the fire department along with the police department answered almost over 60 calls for service. Unfortunately, most of them were wires down and trees on houses. Actually, I should say fortunately, because we did not have any fires during that period. From Tuesday night to Saturday morning, we answered approximately another 24 calls for service, for a total of 84 calls for just this past week. That's approximately 3 months of calls. We do about 320 calls a year, roughly. So that's a 3-month total in a week. Unfortunately, we're now preparing for the next nor'easter on Wednesday into Thursday. Chief Salmon was at the webinar briefing at the FTC today, and he plans on attending tomorrow, and we're now preparing for the next storm. I'd like to take a moment to thank the village board, the police chief, DPW, for all their support. I think everything went very well, and I just hope we don't have to do it again anytime soon.
Chief, thank you for an excellent job. Your department really was amazing, and we couldn't have gotten through it without pretty much the fire department, the police department, the DPW, and all the support here in the village. And I think when people drive around, I know that there are people here tonight who don't have power still, and obviously you're very upset about that. And we're working with O&R, and obviously there's a lot of pressure on them from all forms of government for not responding as quickly or being prepared for this storm. But I think when you look at the village compared to other communities, that everyone was out there making sure it was safe, and that trees have been cut back and the roads are opened right away, other than the one or two situations where we had to wait for Orange and Rockland because we can't obviously send our DPW in there to remove trees when there are still wires which we're unsure if they're energized. And that was pretty much a delay until Friday, when finally O&R sent over a crew that could work along with our DPW to ensure that the areas where there were still wires down were safe, so that our crews could go in there and cut the trees up and cut the limbs up. So again, to the fire chief, the police chief, to the DPW, thank you. You all did a tremendous job during a very difficult storm. Thank you. Okay, we have a public hearing. It's in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to move along to culture and recreation. I believe we have an award. Mr. Simon is going to present it.
Good evening, Village Board. Good evening, everybody here. As you know, every couple of months we like to go around the village and salute people who are making a difference in beautifying the village. The reason we're here tonight is to celebrate the best Halloween decorations. And I know it was kind of hard this year because a lot of people brought theirs in advance of the storm, but we did go around. Submissions were made, judging was held, and the winners for the 2012 Best Halloween Decorations in the Village of Suffern, James and Susan Howard of Prairie Avenue. Come on down, folks. Oh, okay. Mr. Howard, on behalf of the Village Board, on behalf of the Green Council, the Recycling Committee, and everybody here, thank you for doing your part to make Suffern a beautiful place. Now, we have for you a certificate you can proudly hang on your wall.
Thank you very much.
I know if we don't get a picture with Gail, she's going to kill me, so let's turn around and do that now. One more. In addition, we have for you and your wife a gift certificate to Kodo Japanese Restaurant on Lafayette Avenue. So we hope this is our way of paying you back for doing your part. Thank you.
It's my privilege. Thank you.
Thank you. One last thing for everybody who's here and for everybody who may watch this, whether online or on television. Holiday decorations will go around in December. We'll be back in January with another award. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. What's that? Same one. Since the last Village Board meeting, the Recreation Department has sponsored a trip to New York City on October 4th, participated in the Mystic Makeover Fashion Show for Breast Cancer Prevention on October 7th, hosted a dare dance on October 12th, hosted the Halloween window painting on October 13th with a record number of 50 teams, which probably means about 150 middle schoolers in your village that Saturday. Blood Drive on October 16th, Senior Citizen Movie October 25, Lead on October 26th, and the Halloween Parade, which unfortunately, just like last year, was postponed from being outside but held inside the community center, and the kids who were there still had a good time. So thank you for allowing us to do that. Upcoming, Dare Dance, November 9th, Lead, November 16th, Holiday Lighting, Thursday, December 6th, Hanukkah Festival, Monday, December 10th, Lead, Friday, December 14th. Under miscellaneous, I have been working with the representatives. I'm sure Virginia will be bringing it up under her section of the agenda tonight for the Veterans Day Parade. The Farmers Market has worked with myself, the village attorney, and the mayor on providing the winter dates for the community center, the first ones of which will be December 1 and December 15th. Activities in progress at the moment include working with the Suffern Fire Department and Suffern High School to hopefully present the first Village of Suffern Christmas Parade on the same night as the holiday lighting. We also are working on the Pearl Harbor commemoration, and once again, because of last week's school closings, our contacts are a little slow in that regard, as well as the next item, which is the 100th anniversary of this building. We thought we'd give it another day or two, and then we'll reach out once again to Connor School, and as you know, Mayor, that's going to be the beginning of our planning. Once we find out if they're able to be a part of the celebration, we'll move forward. We also are waiting for the delivery of the toddler playground equipment from Memorial Park, and we have a Cub Scout, Dan, who is ready and willing to do some cleanup in the village. We'll have to work with Dan, with Mr. Sickle this week, and see whether, in fact, it really is okay at this particular time, or whether we should put that off till certain areas of the village are cleaned up by the village itself. And finally, I'd just like to mention to you that in a very small way, if anyone on the village board has any ideas for young children who might help after this storm, I have received calls from the student council at Connor School, from a local family who's involved in recreation, and from the people who sponsored the recent fashion show, as well as the lead kids up at the high school. Each of those groups or families asking in what way can they help. So I stand ready to accept from you when you have those suggestions and to reach out to those people. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Okay, I'm going to go to the public hearing now, 7:45.
You want to say something first? You want me to say something?
No, go ahead.
John?
Go ahead.
Thank you. The hearing is on a zone change for a number of parcels along Orange Avenue. The genesis for the zone changes were primarily to change the OTB parcel because there is a concern that has expressed interest in going into that location, and the property needed to be rezoned in order to allow that. OTB, which I don't think anybody thinks is of a particular benefit to the village, apparently is leaving because it's a quasi-state agency. It was exempt from zoning and was able to exist for many years despite the fact that the zoning on that site is a multiple family residential zoning. So in the process of doing that, we sat with our planner and also noticed a number of other areas that were inappropriately zoned in the 1993 zoning law. The properties that are used as residential properties along Orange Avenue going towards the state line are zoned for professional office use when the use is all for residential use, and in any event the lots are not large enough to permit a professional office use at those locations in any event. There are a number of other parcels besides the OTB parcel that are zoned for multiple residents and are used for commercial uses, and those are proposed to be changed from the multiple residence use to a commercial use similar to the downtown. And there are also a few parcels that are zoned MR15 that are going to be rezoned to R5, which is 1- and 2-family use. So the the intent is to actually zone the properties for the manner in which they're presently being used. And it really doesn't involve any change going forward in what would be, the properties would be developed for, and so we thought that this was consistent. For whatever reason, in 1993, the planner that the village was using at the time thought that if you zone properties in a certain way, perhaps they would be developed in that manner by somebody amassing a great number of parcels and developing them. I think that it really wasn't a practical approach, and so, again, the proposal is to zone properties as they are actually being used. Now, we understand that although we thought that this was very innocuous, that the public has some concerns because they may not have fully understood it from the little bit of information that was put out. I will say that the report that our planner has done is available on the village's website, and he certainly is available both here tonight and by his telephone to answer any questions that you have. So, because the genesis for this process was the OTB parcel, and because there is some importance in moving relatively quickly on that in order to facilitate that use for a good tax rateable, my understanding is that what the board may want to do tonight is close the public hearing only with respect to the OTB parcel, and perhaps take action on that alone tonight, and to continue the public hearing until January on the balance of the property so everybody can have their questions and their concerns satisfied. Now, just for some procedural things before the planner, John Lang, makes a couple of comments. Our zoning law required that this be referred to the Village Planning Board, and it was, and the Village Planning Board recommended approval of the proposed amendments. In addition, it was referred to the Rockland County Department of Planning, and by letter dated November 1st, they made the following, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Following modifications, and I think all of these are items that are not a problem for the village. They said in evaluating the appropriateness of the MR15 and PO15 zoning for the properties in the study area, the village planning consultant undertook a detailed analysis of the existing land uses on these parcels. The decision to rezone these properties to more accurately reflect the current land uses is well thought out and carefully considered. The department offers the following recommendations. First one says that a review shall be completed by the New York State Department of Transportation and any required permits obtained. That is really not an issue because all that's occurring is the rezoning, and there will not be any permits unless somebody were to develop the properties, which is not something that we envision anything occurring differently than the properties are presently being used for. The second comment relates to offering the Township of Morwell an opportunity to provide their input on this, and the notice of public hearing and the report was sent to the Township of Morwell, so both of these items don't present any type of impediment. So again, before Mr. Lang gives his presentation, as I understand that the board is only going to deal with the OTB parcel tonight, and will hold in abeyance the balance so that everybody can have their questions answered at some point.
John, if you want to.
Terry covered quite well the basis for the study that I conducted. And if you look at this top area in red, that's currently zoned for multiple residents. And there are no multiple residences in that zone. So that's really clearly a misfit. This area is zoned for office. And if you look through each one of these uses, there's one office use down below. They have a minimum requirement of 15,000 square feet. Only one of the 24 lots in that district meets that requirement. Most of them are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 square feet. So again, a mismatch. The idea is then to turn this area back into the zoning on, it's the same all around them. The M2R5. And this will become part of the general business district, which also encompasses the OTB. So that, in a nutshell, is what they're doing. And just to show you the detail of where the zoning lines are, these are the uses. So there's a little commercial use here. These are commercial, so clearly a commercial zone there makes a lot more sense. These are all residential. This happens to be the one office. There is some commercial here, but the rest of these are a variety of different residential. We're just going to make it a residential zone. So it's really no change to the existing fabric there, other than making it, put a zone in there that will actually fit what's there already. So this is the existing MR15. This is the planned office, 15,000. And the proposal is simply turn all of this to 2R5, so it's all consistent. A small piece here goes to 2R5, and the rest of it goes to CB in conformance with what's there already. And that's the nut of it.
Thank you, John. So what I'll do is we can open it up for public. Again, I think that the best thing and the genesis behind this, as they both said, was that there is, since the OTB is leaving, there is interest, and I know the current property owner is here tonight, in bringing in a retail operation there, which obviously would fit the use of the building, and it's not currently zoned. So it would be a non-conforming use, and the person would have to go get variances, which obviously makes the ability to bring in a new business, which would be beneficial to the village, more difficult. So it just made sense for us to move forward and bring it into conformity with what it currently is, which is obviously a general business use. And then in talking to our planner about that, he evaluated the entire area and said, look, overall, this area doesn't make sense based on what's currently there. So again, if the notice got some people concerned, it was really just to bring it into conformity with what is currently there. But I think it would be appropriate that we can hold that aspect of the public hearing over so that people can ask Mr. Lang more questions. But obviously, we'd like to move forward on the OTB because we do have a business that is interested in coming in and investing substantial money and really would greatly benefit the area and the entire community. So if anyone would like to come up and make comment, please come and do so. Okay. Is there anything from the board?
Well, no, what we're going to do is, I would suggest that you...
Oh, wait, you have somebody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jean Hennerly, 135 Wayne Avenue. I strongly suggest that the whole public hearing be postponed to a later date, whether you have to institute a special board meeting later in the month or wait till next month. But I think many people have been affected by this recent storm, and I'm sure there are numerous people that weren't able to come here tonight and speak their mind. And I think to give it people the proper due course, and that this should be held over, whether it be a week or 2 weeks, but it's too soon after this storm. I'm sure there's people who have family members who work for the police, fire, whatever, who are right now helping in these devastated areas. So I don't see, if they're interested this week, they could be interested in next week, whoever's, this business. I know there's priority to life must go on, but, the residents in this area should have proper time to speak. So I hope everyone thinks to postpone this. And secondly, are they going to the company that's interested in this building, are they going to use the existing building, or are they going to build up to the 4.5 stories that they're able to build under this new zoning?
New zoning is commercial. They're going to use the existing building. That's the plan.
But under the new zoning, they can build up to 4 stories, correct?
They're going to use the current building.
Okay, but what about the other commercial plots in that area?
We're only zoning tonight that one issue because we have a business that's interested in investing several $1 million, and they want to move forward, and OTB's leaving. So I think we're just talking about that one property for tonight.
Okay, so they're not going to, the site plan is not going to change? It's just going to be that...
It's because it's a non-conforming use right now, meaning that no business could come in there other than an OTB.
I understand that, but you're saying the existing building, they're not going to
I believe that they're going to use the current building.
And I understand Rockland Planning did send a report. Did they give a positive response, or is there a certain majority?
I read the two comments that they had, and so those are all issues that the village does not have a problem with.
Okay, so there's no supermajority needed?
No.
Okay. And there's no secret involved with?
Yes, Mr. Lang has prepared an EAF and a negative declaration.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, the ownership. The owner of the building.
Hi, my name is Barbara Menez. I happen to live in the house that sits right next door to OTB. How is that going to affect my house?
And what, sorry ma'am?
My house sits directly next door. When you pull in my driveway, I am against the OTB. How is that affecting my house? That building is starting to fall onto my driveway.
Yeah, this is why...
I've asked for years for them to come out and fix the 1/4 of that building.
That's why we have a business that is ready to come in and buy the building and invest millions of dollars in redoing that building.
Now, a couple of years ago, when we had the issue of taking those houses on that side of the street by public domain, are those houses, those 3 houses that sit next to the OTB, will they be affected by this takeover?
All this is enabling someone to do is to come in there, buy the building that OTB is in, refurbish it, and bring in a good business that will benefit this village.
Which is fine.
That's all we're trying to do here.
My backyard looks like a junkyard for OTB's ticket stubs.
I think that everybody will be very happy to get a good retail business in, and they are going to invest millions of dollars in refurbishing the property, repaving the lot there, putting up landscaping, and really just doing a phenomenal job.
Okay, the last time when we had that problem with the 4 and 5-story buildings that were going to go from Lafayette Avenue down through where my house is, my son was running track at the time, and if he hadn't noticed, the notices were on the poles facing the train tracks. If I hadn't been here with a friend of mine who was taking care of a parking ticket, I wouldn't have known that this was even going on this evening. I didn't get anything in the mail. I mean, how do you, and I'm sitting right next door to
We
it.
noticed, we can, if you want to talk to the clerk's office tomorrow, we did send out notice, and especially if you're an adjoining property owner.
Oh,
We went
So if you
500 feet.
within 500 feet, so we could definitely confirm, if you give the address, I can confirm and have someone call you tomorrow. What's the address again?
53 Park Avenue.
53 Park Avenue? Virginia, can we check to make sure? We have a record of everything that was sent out. Okay?
I've got to be that close.
We'll check on that.
Diane got it.
I don't know if she did, she doesn't do anything about it, you know that.
You don't have to give your number publicly. If you want to just give your number to Mrs. Curtin, we'll make sure we call you to confirm that notice was sent. Thank you.
She says,
Hi, my name is George Adisio. I live at 54 Park Avenue. I just want to know, is this a sale of the building or a lease of the building?
I believe it's going to be a sale of the building.
Okay, how will the village board, or how does the village board plan to put some contingencies upon that sale for improvement of the property? Like the sidewalk, the poor fencing that's around the building?
They will have to go to site plan. They'll have to go to site plan approval, and I do know that the current owner of the property is here. I have talked to the prospective buyer, and, you know, their concern was they wanted to come in and they say, look, we want a retail use. This is a commercial business, but it's not zoned that way. So obviously, I think everybody in that neighborhood would like to see something a bit more beneficial to the village than an OTB, and that these people will go through site plan approval, and they are prepared to invest millions of dollars in the property and really make a huge positive impact on this village. And that's why we're here tonight, because we want to facilitate that and to get substantial investment in the community. I think that for a business owner who's ready to pour in millions of dollars, especially in this economy, I think it's important that we show them that we're a partner with that and that we want to move forward.
Good. Also, I noticed on the MR15 zoning versus the CB zoning that CB zoning allows schools of special interest. What exactly is that?
I don't have the zoning law in front of me to read you the definition, but it would generally be, like a ballet school, music school, that type of thing.
So it wouldn't be like a yeshiva or anything like that?
Not by that term, no.
Okay. And lastly, with regards to the last, a different item on that same zoning plan, there are 3 houses that are along Park Place that are currently residential that are being rezoned as a community business. How was that decided? Because that doesn't seem to fit what is currently there.
Maybe, John, you can point out what...
Yeah, they are. Something there now.
I'm not sure which ones he's talking about.
3.
Pick it out on this, or you want to hear it? Those have commercial uses in them now.
They look residential to me.
The only one that's residential is the one in the middle, the pink is office. There's office uses on those 2 lots. So 2 of those 3 lots are already commercial.
Okay, and you're going to turn this into CB as well.
Right, it's kind of hard. You're in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, so if you turn that into a commercial business, what will happen to those residents?
They can stay there as a non-conforming use. They just can't expand it.
And they're non-conforming uses presently, and they will remain as non-conforming uses.
Okay.
I just want to, Mr. Mayor and Village Board, I want to commend the board for being proactive and bringing business into the village. That's
You identify the person?
thinking ahead and helping the village develop.
Sir, can you identify?
Sorry, 42 Chestnut Street, Ned Suffern speaking. And I just wanted to say that as a homeowner or landlord in the general area, 42 Chestnut Street, we are a 3-family house in what's going to become a commercial district there. And so it isn't exactly accurate to say that it's being conformed to what it's being used as. I understand from my council and from those in the board that I can be grandfathered in, but I just hope that the need for middle to lower income housing of stable families would be respected in the area when a significant investment has been made in the building over the last 10 years to add to the charm of the village in many ways with cedar siding put in and the like. So I'm just saying I think it's great what's going on with the OTB, and I hope in the future deliberations when I may not be able to be here that consideration for that kind of need of rental property would be considered.
Thank you.
Jim Genatino, 2 Memorial Drive. Is there a contract on the sale of this property?
We have to ask the owner about that.
Well, you seem to have the details. I thought maybe you were privy to it.
I told you that the prospective buyer approached and asked questions on the zoning, and that's why this came about. I don't know if currently they're in contract. Again, the owner's here. If the owner wants to comment on that, they're free to do that. But I don't know the current status of their negotiations. I just know that somebody's interested in this.
Would the owner care to comment?
Sorry?
I'm asking the owner if he care to comment.
He can't talk to people.
So, I mean, it's up to the owner.
Okay, I guess not. He didn't answer.
I guess you're right.
Absolutely. My second question is, I would think that if there was a contract on this, and I'm assuming this, which is not a good thing to do most of the time, that would be the reason for pushing this so quickly. Now, I was at the planning board when this was given to the planning board. I think there was 1 or 2 other people there. And there was quite a discussion about what was the rush to push this through so that it could be put up for November's meeting. And John Lang, he gave his presentation, there were questions, but there was a lot of sentiment that they wanted to look deeper into the material. And the reason it came up for a vote, this isn't a quote, I'll paraphrase it, was, well, the village board would like you to do them a favor and send this to them for the November meeting. Now, is this how we're doing stuff now? We're not letting them read the material in order to push it through? I'm probably in favor of this project, but I really don't know enough about it, and I don't think anybody in this room had a chance to look at what was going on this project. There's nothing out there in the lobby.
Jim, I think that what you failed to mention is that what went to the planning board was the whole area, not just the OTB property. And
yes, that's the way it was presented.
And I think that you're being unfair in saying that they were, you know, if it had gone just as the OTB property, maybe there wouldn't have been so much, you know, indecision about whether they needed more time or not.
Well, we'll never know that, will we?
Exactly, we'll never know that. So for you to come up and not bring that point to the table seems a little bit unfair.
I said he made his presentation.
Okay, and secondly, I don't think that we heard from any of the planning board that they felt as though they needed more time, and they do an excellent job, and I feel that they are all perfectly willing to come to us and say, hey, look, we know that you guys wanted this by the November meeting, however, we really need more time, we don't feel comfortable with this. I don't think anybody is going to just vote for something because the village board asked to do a favor. I personally asked no one to do a favor, and I hear from them, we send it to them, I hear back from them. But I just think it's unfair the way you presented this. I can understand that you're concerned, but I don't feel it's fair for you to use the whole picture when we're only using a part of the picture. And yes, I do agree that they do need more information for that big of a zone change. I do agree with you, and I'm really glad that that's not happening, because I think we do need more information. But with the OTB property, there's no way we would know that there's a contract or not. That's between the landowner and the person who's interested. I would, as a person who was going to buy a building, not have a contract ready to sign unless I was sure that this was going to be something that I could actually accomplish, which is a multi-million-dollar investment in a building. Okay? So that to me is not even an issue. What is an issue to me is the fact that they're coming in, they're going to spend money on a building that has blighted that area for a long time. You heard residents say they're sick and tired of OTB tickets in their backyard and so on and so forth. That interests me when somebody wants to come in and wants to spend money to beautify a building and to run a business that's really going to be an asset to our village. So I think we have to put into perspective that we're talking about one piece of property right now, and we're not talking about the rest of it, and that's what the planning board actually was, what was brought to the planning board at the time.
Let me interject a minute. I was at that meeting, and I was really not happy with the way it transpired. I have cleared that up with Mayor LaCorte, and I'm sure that there won't be any miscommunication in the future. Whether the planning board agreed to it or not, to me is somewhat immaterial. Based on the business that is going there, and the fact that we should probably rezone that anyway, I see no reason not to move forward. But I do agree with Jim, the way it was handled was poor, but it has been cleared up. And
I'm glad to hear it was cleared up, because there was a good discussion. A good discussion about them having more time to look at this project. And the mayor happened to come in that night, and he saw a whole group of us out there talking about it.
And that's why we prefaced the beginning of this hearing. So again, I think this has been cleared up already.
Okay, well, of course, I wasn't aware of that until...
No, the beginning of this...
that our trustee had a discussion and found out why it was presented the way it was presented. Because at the time, he wasn't aware of the project.
Again, we can... Jim, let's just move on with the village business. Again, we tried to do this because...
All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Does anybody else we just want a commercial business to go into the existing building and anything else in the area, while we believe it makes sense and does not represent a material change from the existing zone, we believe that to make everybody comfortable in that fact, there should be further time to speak to our planner about the issue and address whatever concerns we have. In the meantime, I do not think it's inappropriate to act on a situation to have a building represent what its current use is, so someone can come in and invest $4 to $5 million in this village and replace what has been a blight. I think it's that simple. Hi.
Rich Carp, I live in Squires Gate. We lucked out this time.
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk about that later. What kind of a business is supposedly going there that the building will be bought, refurbished, and built up?
A family-owned retail business.
Okay, again, what kind of a business is going there?
Currently, there has been a discussion, someone approached the village with an interest in that building. Whether or not it comes to fruition with that particular potential purchaser, it still leaves the fact that the building is not properly zoned, meaning that anybody would come in, whether it's a retail business or any commercial business, that is not an OTB, and it would be a non-conforming use. It makes it very difficult to sell the building and get someone to invest in it. So currently, again, there is a retail business that is a family-owned, successful business that if they go to contract and they do it, they will obviously then have to go to the planning board. It will be made public. It will be open hearings. They will have to get site plan approval. So it's just that simple. I mean, I just think that it's appropriate for me to say it's a very good retail business that's family-owned. They have an existing businesses. They've been successful, and I think it's going to be a very positive thing for this village. And everything will go publicly moving forward. I just want to let's keep our eye on the ball here. Is all.
Okay. Again, according to my version of what you gentlemen and ladies, not ladies, gentlemen, are saying, you know what kind of business it is. And I think that before anybody here says, yeah, let's do this, we should know what kind of business this is.
Regardless of, okay.
No, I don't believe regardless of what kind of business this is.
Thank you.
A privately owned business could be a waste filtering plant.
It's not.
Or a fertilizer. That could be family owned.
I said it's a retail.
Okay, retail. What are they selling? Are they selling chemicals? People?
Sir?
I mean, you bring something up, but you tell half a story. And then you want everybody to say, yeah, let's do it.
It's not a question. We're not approving any business here. All we're doing is allowing.
Yeah, but once you approve
okay, sir, thank you. I'm not going to get into this.
Let me ask you one question. Would you have a meeting? Let's say you vote to approve it, and it's rezoned, and then the business wants to buy it. Would you give the people a chance to know what type of business is going in there?
If you listen to my comments, what I said is we are not approving any business. We are zoning the property, which is a commercial piece of...
I understand that.
Let me finish, okay? Because this is not productive, and this is just... we are rezoning the property so that it reflects a current use, so a commercial business can go, let me finish. Commercial business can go into a commercial building. Whether this particular concern buys it or anybody else, in order for any business to go in there, they will have to get site plan approval.
Okay.
There will be public hearings before the planning board. All we're trying to do is, right now, it is zoned residential. It's zoned residential. Is that a residential building?
No, that's all I wanted to know.
That's all we're doing.
All I wanted to know right now.
I've said it 9 times.
As soon as, and as soon as the property owner is ready and willing to, give that information out, I'm not exactly sure why they're not, to be honest with you. It's a great thing. But as soon as they do, trust me, we will get it out immediately as soon as we're able to divulge the information. I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay.
Michael Curley for Orange Avenue. Just a little history of the property. Around 39 years ago, when I moved up here, it was a Grand Union. That's where we used to shop way back when. So it was commercial when I first got here, and then it was always commercial as long as I've lived here. What happened years ago, they came along, and as Mr. Rice said, in the early 90s, we had a planner, and you also had a gentleman named Jack Keogh who was into building, and they had a plan for Suffern. Well, that plan didn't really work. So by taking that building, and they made it that zone, they actually were wrong then. What's going on now is a correction, all right? Is they're saying, hey, it's a commercial building. How does a person who owns that building go ahead and sell it, or lease it, or do anything with it the proper way, okay? As we know, the state was exempt because of OTB. But, so when they came in, they were allowed to get away with whatever they wanted to get away with, okay? And now, a new guy's coming in there, a woman, whatever it may be, and they're not going to come in there and leave that building as is and try to make money there. They're going to come in and bring money into this village, okay? And what you got going on all over, whether it's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, commercial space is in trouble. We are probably at one of our lowest rates. People are leaving commercial space. If OTB leaves that property now, there will be a tough time to rent it or get to someone else. Anything we can do to move that along, to keep this village better and more occupied, is better for all of us, because it will be tough to rent, okay? Now, on the other alternative, they don't change the zoning. Do you want houses there? Do you want high houses there? Do you want, you're kind of limiting the use then. You're kind of saying, hey, listen, you got to keep a business there, okay? So I don't see it as a bad thing for the village. I don't see it as, now, as we know, the process is, we do a zone change first. They have to send it to the board. They send it to the board. We do a zone change. Before they can, now when that new business comes, they have to go to the planning board. There are hearings. There are public hearings. There is input. And if you watch the planning board in the village of Suffern, when you go in front of them now, they make you do this and do trees and maybe sidewalks. You don't just come in and say, hey, I'm in, have a nice day, when you're taking over a new building like that. So I just don't see it as I'm glad they stopped the whole, since it's only that one piece of property, I don't see the damage to the residents here. I can't even foresee the damage to the residents, okay? I mean, if someone else, can, then that's fine, then you speak up, but you can't let opportunity, there's too many places looking, there's too many other locations they can go. If we're lucky enough, and there is a business that wants to go there, okay? A credible business, and I noticed that there was a bipartisan talk on this board here with people from different parties saying, hey, I might go for it, okay? So I don't think there's a sellout going out here. I don't think it's any missteps. And I think because they limited it, I think we should consider it, okay? And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bipartisan is two trustees.
Okay, does anybody else have any comment? Is there a motion to...
If it alleviates anyone's fears, this is the type of business that really will produce no odors, no hangout, no loitering, no illegal discharge, and also it could possibly create 50 jobs or so. So, to give a little more insight, proceed with the motion.
Okay, if I can guess what the Board of Trustees might be considering, based on the conversations, we originally prepared a local law that rezoned the various parcels under the three scenarios that we're talking about, and submitted that to the board. When it became apparent that the board might only wish to deal with the OTB parcel, we prepared another local law which solely rezones that property at 140 Orange Avenue with its tax lot number listed in this from MR15 to CB. So if the board wants to proceed with that, I would suggest that you close the public hearing only with respect to the proposed rezoning of section 5443, block 2, lot 3 from MR15 to CB, and that you continue the public hearing on the balance of the proposed zone changes to I think you were talking about January, it would be January
Would that remake the meeting?
7th, I guess?
Yeah, January 7th. The January meeting, so give people 2 months.
Well, January 7th, because you need to do it to an exact date.
January 7th.
Otherwise, you would have to renotice everybody. You may want to do that anyway, but-
Okay, I will motion to close the public hearing, only the OTB parcel portion of the public hearing, and ask that the rest of the other 2 parcels...
More than 2.
How many are there?
There's many, a couple dozen.
A couple dozen parcels. Be continued until January 7th.
Yeah, this January.
January 7th. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Now, before you do that, John has a negative declaration on the entire proposal. You need to deal with a negative declaration before you actually vote on anything.
Do I have to read the reasons?
Yeah.
Number 14, if you want to go.
Excuse me. Based upon the reasoning below and review of the information in the environmental assessment forms, the site plans, project plans, I should say, the reasons supporting the determination of a negative declaration or no impact are based on the fact that the primary reason for the change for the MR15 to central business is that the existing uses are already commercial uses. This change would extend the central business district to this already existing commercial area. There's no physical change in the amount of land. It's expected that the water consumption will remain essentially the same. Sewage generation would be essentially unchanged. Stormwater runoff will be reduced slightly as new developments will have to conform to zero net runoff and the stormwater management regulations. It's not going to change the number of school-age children. Traffic and circulation will remain at the existing levels since the changes proposed reflect the actual land use as opposed to a future residential use. Compliance regarding the Sickle regulations, section 617.4B indicate that this is not a type 1 action. It doesn't meet any of the threshold criteria. So therefore, this document is not required, but we have created it to be in conformance with the spirit of the law.
Thank you, John. Do you need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Just a roll call or no?
Yeah, I would do that.
Local law number 14.
No, we're not doing a law. This is
No, you're not
a
gonna do
negative
it?
declaration.
Mr. Falciglia?
The spirit of bipartisanship is...
Yes.
Mrs. Abato? Mrs. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
In the spirit of bipartisanship, my next-door neighbor, yes.
Yes. And I vote yes, motion is carried. Okay, now we need a, what is it, local law?
Well, rather than refer to the number so we're clear what we're doing, let me read the title. It's a local law amending Section 266 of the Code of the Village of Suffern, the zoning local law and zoning map of the Village of Suffern, rezoning property located at 140 Orange Avenue, Section 54.43, Block 2, Lot 3, from MR15 to CB.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
Mrs. Corrigan?
Yes.
Sorry for skipping you. I vote yes, motion is carried. Thank you.
Local law number 14.
Sure, okay. Grant writer, I got a message from the grant writer earlier this evening. He's unable to attend, but he wanted me to relay a couple of items. One, they are moving forward with the committee meetings for the Community Development Block Grant. They will have 2 committee meetings to make recommendations to the board to be adopted, I believe, before January 31st. In addition, I believe he's working with Virginia, right? In coming up with I guess a meeting that is required by the Office of Community Development for all members of the Village Board, Planning Board, and Zoning Board to attend with reference to fair housing, education, so that we could then obviously be educated on that, but also it's required to be eligible for community block grant money. So that's, I think those are his items, and again, that in terms of the facades, that the construction company is ready to move forward and should begin work any day on at least 2 buildings, and getting ready to move forward beyond that, so in the next week or so. Okay, so that's the grant writer. Next, we have Mr. Village Attorney.
Thank you. We discussed at the workshop meeting the necessity to get an appraisal of the portion of Pleasant Avenue that the village is considering declaring surplus, because if the village does so, they have an obligation to get fair compensation for it. I have a proposal from Armstrong Appraisals from Clifton Park. They apparently specialize in this type of appraisal work, and their proposal is for $1,800 for the appraisal, and they will provide it within 15 business days.
Okay.
Why are they so far away?
They do specifically this type of
Near
work.
Schenectady. That's where I went to school.
There's nobody local. Okay.
Okay, and again, this would be reimbursed?
Oh, yeah, ultimately, it'll be reimbursed as part of the sale if the board decides to do that and it goes forward.
Union College.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Oh. Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Mrs. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Police Department, Chief Osborne. Again, Chief, you did a phenomenal job during a difficult storm, particularly Monday night. Was really hairy out there for a while, and everyone did a great job and truly made sure that really the village was safe, and I think we definitely fared better than a lot of other communities. And I know the Chief and I, on Friday, went over to Piermont and saw what they've gone through, and we've offered them assistance. Also, Chief talked to you and Chief Kanaski about it, helping to offer them assistance in dealing with FEMA, as obviously they're going to be going through the same situation that we dealt with Irene, trying to get funding for residents as well as the expenses associated with the governmental response there. So, helping our neighbors.
Well, Dan, thank you very much, man. But I also want to, as Chief Stark said a little while ago when he first got up, thank all of you for letting us do our job. We appreciate that. It was definitely a little hectic Monday night, and then the residual effects are still going on in the village, but we're doing what we need to do to help out as needed. And I just want to thank, Gail, Mike, DPW, Tom, everybody stepped up. We had a good thing going with what we had to deal with, and hopefully players like Piermont, Stony Point, the one thing we could offer them is, unfortunately, having been through it before, is we could offer them a little knowledge of assistance of having similar circumstances last year doing Irene. So I appreciate that. I just have two resolutions tonight, and these are for reimbursements. And one of the requirements in the County of Rockland is a resolution for each one. So resolution number 10, which will be reimbursement from the County of Rockland County Narcotics Task Force. That'll be in the sum of $100,000. That'll be reimbursement for Detective Mike Fennessy, who has been assigned to the narcotics unit for the past year to do investigations in Suffern, as well as the county and the group supervisor. So that's resolution 10.
Joe's going to read the resolution.
Resolution number 10, 2012, offered the following resolution and moved into adoption. Resolved. The mayor is authorized to execute an agreement with the County of Rockland for the reimbursement for the participation in the Narcotics Task Force in the amount of $100,000.
So moved.
Second.
I think she moved it. Oh, okay. Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Ms. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion is carried.
Okay, thank you, Madam Board. The second resolution, number 11, is also reimbursement from the County of Rockland. That'll be for surveillance equipment and license plate readers. If you have ever seen in the back of our patrol car, one car we have, there's two boxes in the back of one of the cars. Our license plate readers, they monitor every license plate that you either pass or pass the yield. Stores an essential database. In 1 year, from 2009, we first got them. In the first, I think it's 8 months, we ran over 800,000 plates, which is very good during the course of investigations, and we made in the first year over 180 arrests for suspended plates, for suspended registrations of stolen vehicles. So the first permit we received was a grant from New York State, and it's going to be for 2 more from the County of Rockland from the seizure committee, which I sit on as well for the county, and we're receiving 2 more as well as surveillance equipment for covert operations for $61,630.
So moved.
Second.
Resolution number 11.
You want to read? I'm sorry.
2012, offered the following resolution and moved its adoption. Resolved, the mayor is authorized to execute an agreement with the County of Rockland for the reimbursement for surveillance equipment and the license plate readers in the amount of $61,630.
Okay,
I'll move that.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan? Mrs. Corrigan?
I said yes.
Oh, Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion is carried.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Moore. Thank you for your assistance again.
Thank you, Chief. In the meantime, if anybody would like to discuss the other properties that were subject to the continuation of the public hearing, Mr. Lang, if you don't mind, John, will be outside in the hall, so if you have any questions, I think it's a good time now, since he's here, he can answer those questions.
Chief, I don't know, I'm probably overstepping my bounds here, but did you want to mention while you're up here about the gift cards?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. If I wrote it up. Yeah, thank you, Trish. One thing we're doing for the residents of Rockland County, obviously this storm was catastrophic throughout New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. One of the things we're going to do in the Suffern Police Department to assist our own county residents is we have started to collect gift cards, which we received a very sizable donation today. And we're going to be distributing those to Beaumont and Stony Point. I've spoken to the police chiefs on both communities. We're going to focus on those two areas. Those seem to be the hardest hit. And we can appreciate that when we went to Irene with the other communities that stepped in to help us out. So we're definitely going to reciprocate that back, and we're doing very well. We literally started yesterday. So we're just going to collect gift cards, really any kind of gift cards for clothing and food will definitely help, because unfortunately most of the families lost like everything. The houses are gone. It was devastating in Beaumont. The tidal surge wiped out the whole community over there, and just people are left with nothing. Many of those children and elderly people as well. So it's definitely something we want to do. So thank you, Trish, for reminding me.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, audience participation, you can come up to the microphone. Okay, Department of Public Works.
Oh, you have one.
Dave Hirsch, 74 East Maple Avenue. Mayor LaCorte, Village Board members. At the July 9th, 2012 Village Board meeting, I had discussed the possibility of an alternative at the quarry, and that was creating an extreme sports park fashioned after Brownstone Quarry. And there's a lot of interest from Brownstone regarding the quarry. We're going to be down in the city the weekend before November 12th. They called me, they asked if they can get in for a physical view of the quarry for 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, on Monday the 12th at 11 a.m. Can we facilitate that?
If you can talk to the town of Ramapo, they're in possession of the property.
I understand, but I also believe that the planning board has been escorted up there.
With respect to in looking at the application that's made by Quarry Ridge.
Once again, I understand that, but they won't even, Brownstone won't even consider coming to you and making an alternative proposal unless they can just have a 20-minute view, just to see if they're even interested.
Can we call them?
Can we call who?
Quarry Ridge.
Okay, it's...
Can we call the town of Ramapo? And I'd like to see that's Veterans Day, I'm off. I'd like to see it myself.
Yeah, I mean, you can, again, it's It's like anything, it's in the Village of Suffern, but we don't control the property. So if you want to, you can contact the town of Ramapo and the applicant, and they can let you into the property.
All right, let me ask you...
That's the answer to, I don't know what to tell you. It's like if we don't have access, like I can't grant access to your home.
No, I understand that.
It's not my property.
I understand that. So you're telling me that the planning board went to the town of Ramapo in order to access the property?
The applicant, yes, the applicant asked the applicant, Quarry Ridge, wanted the planning board to take a look at the property, so they did that. So the applicant and the town of Ramapo are the controlling parties in the applicant.
Right, but I have become the liaison for Brownstone, and they're asking, well, you know, the bottom line is this. They're on their way driving back to Connecticut. They're asking me, do you think the board would accommodate us and just let us walk in for 20 minutes?
I'm just trying to tell you, we don't control that property. So it's very akin to saying if someone said, I want to see Dr. Hirsch's house, I would say, call Dr. Hirsch if he wants you to be there. So it's the same, I'm not trying to be evasive or anything, it's just, we don't control that property.
Let me ask you this.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Mayor LaCorte, no, just 1 minute.
Sure.
After the storm, I have no services, I have no phone, okay? Can I ask you to do us a favor on behalf of the village to make a phone call over to the town of Ramapo and ask them?
I will.
And just get back to me.
I will do that. I will take care of that tomorrow, and just leave a number with Gail. What's the best way to...
You know, honestly, I don't have a phone. At this point, I've got nothing. I'm wiped out.
Okay, so how do we get in touch with you?
You can leave a message at the clerk's office, and I'd be more than happy to pick it up.
I'd like to see the property too. If you can arrange with me, I'll come to your house.
I will
personally come to your house.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so by 3 o'clock tomorrow, I will have an answer for you. Check in with Virginia, around 2 or 3 tomorrow afternoon, and I will get in touch with the town of Ramapo and find out if there's any way that we can...
I greatly appreciate the effort.
No problem.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question on the quarry. I've spoken to the chief. Different people or organizations have been using it to shoot weapons. And it's been going on, the last one, it went on all day long, this gunfire. And it was pretty loud gunfire. Are we aware of this? Can we take control of this? I mean, I know somebody owns the property, but it's not zoned for a shooting range.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've called, I don't know if I called the office.
Can the chief, can you come up? Yeah, can you come up? I want to get you on tape.
Shooting up there?
Yeah, they've been using it, I know they spoke to the town of Abato, and I believe you made aware of the village over the summer. They have a couple of training days a year up there. It's from the county police academy, it's really not our officers that are running it, it's not us.
It was the town using it also, wasn't it?
Jim, they may have. I know the county uses it.
Yeah, because I made a couple of calls up to the town, and their answer is we could do whatever we want.
Meaning who?
The town of Ramapo Police Department.
I know that we used it once. The town allowed our fire department to do a training exercise there as well once.
That's fine, but to shoot guns all day long...
I don't know. I can check in. Do you have a date in which it happened?
You got the date, and they did it during the summer with the pool open, which I don't think was a very good idea.
Can we just clarify? Hold on one second, because at your first comment, I thought people were just up there like gun clubs or something.
No, I said organizations.
No, but law enforcement in particular?
Yes.
Only? Oh, okay. Phew.
Yeah, the police academy and the Ramapo police.
Okay.
That's what I know of, maybe others.
I would hope they would know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Do you have my cell phone?
Thank you.
Michael Curley, 84 Orange Avenue, Suffern, New York. The first concern with the quarry should be water alleviation for the neighborhoods that are in trouble in the village of Suffern. Secondarily, homes or a water park, okay? But the first concern only should be how to use that area and the drainage area to protect neighborhoods in this village and protect everyone in this village. Then everything else comes secondary, okay? What happened years back was the town of Ramapo put out that property as some sort of bid project. The concern was that Quarry Ridge had won that bid. That bid was put out to a public bid. Quarry Ridge supposedly won that bid. The town of Ramapo is the owner of that property, and the village of Suffern gets control of zoning on it. So they can't do anything without us in there. So anything that goes in there is only secondary to water alleviation for all the neighborhoods in the village, or things that the village people need, the residents may need, okay? Secondarily, okay? The town of Ramapo now has spent approximately, their claim, about $550,000 since they bought that property, okay? So they already have an investment here. I suggested this years back, and I'll suggest it again. The village of Suffern should be able to get it at the same price as that bidder paid for it, which was $2 million. Quarry Ridge, in their contract, is paying $2 million for that piece of property, okay? The piece of property is worth a multitude of that, okay? Now, I don't disrespect Quarry Ridge or anyone for doing business and trying to move on and make money. The state, you probably could get state money to help pay for the water to alleviate the water problems, whether it's Squires Gate or water that backs up Moyle Drives and wherever else. But you have to first understand all the factors, all right? Whether a park is a good secondary, okay? But the park is a secondary to try to keep, the intention is to keep homes out. You first have to say, how are we going to help these people in this village who are getting destroyed? We have an obligation as neighbors and as residents, okay? But you have to recognize that Quarry Ridge won't just say, hey, I'm going to leave now. Why should I leave now, okay? I have an investment here. So we have to make a choice. A choice to invest in our village for the long run. And we have to make a choice to maybe try to take that property over a long-term bond ourselves and enter into contracts ourselves as a village to go and put other things in there to protect the residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak again?
Sure.
Okay. I think the last time I saw you, or the time before I saw you, or the last time, when you were worried about those houses at Squire Gate being knocked down by the river, and you had them short up again. I think that's something to think of, too. We lucked out. We really lucked out. Those houses are still standing, and I'm right next to them, and I'm still standing. With all due respect, if those houses topple into the river, then what? Okay, I said that. That's why I'm here anyway. As far as the quarry, I asked you a question that last time I saw you. I said I heard that the town of Ramapo has applied to the federal government or FEMA for a grant to fix up the pumping, to install the pumping station without any buildings at all going in there. I asked you if you heard about it. You said, yeah, you have heard about it. I asked you, well, I was told that it's been approved. You said you didn't know that.
And I said I would check into it.
You'll check into it.
Yeah.
Now, if the town of Ramapo has applied for a grant through FEMA and the federal government, and if what I heard is true, that they were approved for flood mitigation, all this about the houses and the park is dumb.
The town of Ramapo has not been approved for any funding. That's not the way it works. Okay, I have a prepared statement I was going to read.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to read it at the trustees
You want to do it now?
section. Yeah, I could read it now, although...
It's a good segue.
I think Mike wrote it, though, after everything he said. I'm beginning to wonder.
Okay.
This was under wraps. I just want to read a prepared statement on behalf of myself and to the record. The quarry was obtained 6 years ago by the town of Ramapo for a flood mitigation project to attempt to alleviate flooding in Lower Suffern. 6 years and 2 hurricanes later, however, the project is still on the drawing board. There have been no legitimate reasons for this delay, and one can argue that with stronger political will, this project may already have been in an advanced stage or fully completed. In addition, to my knowledge, there has never been any alternatives proposed for the development of the acreage above and beyond the required acreage for the flood project. No thought seemingly has ever been given to the possible failure of the project or that a smarter alternative may have existed. No federal funding was sought until March of this year. A letter of intent oddly sent the day prior to my community review questioning same. Now I have been put in the position of having to vote on 2 projects joined at the hip, which could have been pursued unilaterally. Poor planning, indifference, incompetence, lethargy, and any other words you choose to describe the situation has left me with a clear conscience on the situation. Accordingly, I would call on the town of Ramapo to complete the flood mitigation project prior to initiating any building project. I would additionally request that the town seek alternate proposals to the current proposal to allow the village of Suffern to perform a comparative analysis of all proposals in respect to revenues, cost of services, and quality of life. I am available at all times to discuss this matter with anyone who so desires. God save the Queen.
About to answer your question, no, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was in the town hall paying my taxes, and I happened to see our illustrious supervisor, and he was smiling, is not, very smiled, right? I asked him, I said, what's going on with that? What happens if nothing is built, right? And he told me, well, they will build it. And then I heard about the grant that they applied for.
Yeah,
that's why I asked, because nobody else knows about anything.
It's funny that you say that because, I get the same response from him. At some point you have to be realistic, it's going to be built on. Well, I don't agree with you.
I mean, we lucked out.
Yeah.
Nobody lost power, nothing.
Yes.
The sun shone and the river did not go up more than about 8 inches.
Right, we were lucky this time.
We were lucky. And Mayor was afraid, everybody, because I saw you there that night. With the engineer and everybody else.
USS Budweiser.
Yeah, I know. That's a good ship. You remember, huh?
I actually had the opportunity to speak with Phil Tisi, because it's difficult for even...
I called up, I spoke to Phil last week, I asked him, he said he found out about it.
Right. I actually had a conversation with him regarding the same situation.
Which a lot of people don't know what's going on.
Right.
I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and I heard something.
Right.
And I asked about it.
Okay. Well, I did speak to him, and I told him of our frustrations of all the communication that the mayor and village board members are trying to have with the town of Ramapo. Jack Meehan spoke several times on this. And the fact of the matter is that the communication is horrible. And he and I are actually going to meet to try to formulate a better form of communication. I think this has gone on quite long enough about the quarry, and I do feel, and I know all of us on the village board feel that if there's any possible way that we can get funding to help with flood mitigation for anywhere to help with Squires Gate area, we're on it. The problem with this particular property is that it's in the town of Ramapo's hands right now. So we're starting to look like beggars at this point.
I was even thinking of just me going to a board meeting.
Yes.
In the town of Ramapo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
please do.
Thank you.
Just get up like this and ask.
Please do.
At least
that would be
people
great.
know me.
That would be great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Department of Public Works, no report from them.
Oops, you have one more. Dagan? Sorry. The face. Stop.
Yes, you're right. Just people can... What is it?
He said, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Mr. Johnson, because he wants to talk.
Sam Janarone, 73 East Maple. First off, I would like to thank our police, the fire, and Department of Public Works workers and leaders, all, for the help they have given us on East Maple Avenue. We've been without electricity since 10:30 the night of the storm, and a number of people. I'd like to commend Charles Zawicki in particular, who repeatedly went to Orange and Rockland and has spearheaded the effort to get the power turned back on our street. I'd like to thank Clerk is here. Charles obviously is not. I would like to continue regarding Dave Hirsch's request that the quarry be opened to the developers of the Brownstone Park. I am not sure whether or not the board has explored. Jack Meehan told me he went to the website and looked at it. I'm not sure to what extent he did. This park is a successful money-making operation that benefits the city of Portland, Connecticut. It's about a half an hour south of Hartford. The governor of Connecticut, Malloy, visited the park this summer and commended them for turning what was a wasteland into a productive enterprise. Now, I've been in construction my whole life. I realize something, and numerous things are going to be built in the quarry. There are a number of options. We've been discussing with Orangetown the possibility of a solar field, a solar power field on the property backed by Novartis, who wants no development in there. They're doing that on Route 303 at the old landfill.
Can I ask you a quick question? Have you brought any of these, and again, I'm not trying...
Excuse me?
Have you brought any of these ideas to the town of Ramapo at a public hearing? Because they control...
Dagan, we are looking to you to be our representatives. You are elected to be our representative.
I understand that, but
Chris St. Lawrence ignored all our pleas regarding the baseball stadium, and we're all paying for it right now, including you. No, we have not gone to the town of Ramapo. Because as far as I'm concerned, Ramapo is a dead end at this point.
I understand, but we will protect the village's interest in anything that moves forward. But we cannot look to try to develop a property that we don't own. So I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to assist you.
What can you do? I've heard what you can't do. What can you do?
What we can do is anything that moves forward that comes to the village board, we can make sure that whatever is proposed, that we protect the interests of the village of Suffern.
Well, there's no equivalence between letting somebody look inside Dave Hirsch's house to someone letting look at the quarry. The Goldsteins are not applying to put up a two-car garage in somebody's backyard.
So what?
This has the potential to benefit the village of Suffern to a degree that has been unavailable.
We will contact them and try to get them to have access to the property. Sure.
What village that has been developed for a long time has 60 acres become available within its borders? This is a godsend to us, and if the Goldsteins are allowed to come in there and spoon feed you and the residents of Suffern a project where they can collect rent in perpetuity and ruin that property forever, then the village is being poorly led at this point.
Can I just say something? I just was talking to Trustee Falciglia. Him and I invite any other board member to come with us. We are going to go to the next Town of Ramapo board meeting.
We will come with you.
Okay.
We would be happy to.
So anyone who would like to come with us, We will go up there, and we will definitely be able to see Chris St. Lawrence at that time, and we will try to get some answers publicly. Maybe that's what we need to do. So Charles and I are going to go. I invite anybody. Joe's coming.
I'll go too.
Jack's coming. We'll all go up there and
Mr. Carp's coming?
Mr. Carp's coming. Anybody else?
We'll get buses.
Yeah, buses.
We're going to bus everyone in.
Yeah, and let's go. And let's go as a village,
Empty the
a concerned
hotel.
village about a piece of property and find out if there's anything that's going to be done to help Squires Gate and where we are on this, and we'll have to get an answer at that point.
Thank you.
Okay?
That's great. One other item, please.
Sam, may I just say something?
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to be, all I'm just trying to tell you is that it's kind of like, I remember, my tourist professor said, like, right church, wrong pew, and we can help you out and protect the village, but we don't control the property.
I
So if someone
understand
wants a
that.
proposal, then we'll assist you. All I'm trying to say is that, to say, can you come in and let this, let this group come in to take a look at the property, it's not our ability or our right to do that.
Can I suggest-
Now, we will give you whatever assistance we can. And again, I'm not trying to be difficult, I just want to steer you in the right direction. And I know there's a frustration because you come here, and we're here, and we answer questions every month. So you go to the party that you can speak to where you may not be able to do that with respect to the town of Ramapo, and I understand that frustration. I just want to make sure that we all have the proper information. So, and that's what I'm trying to do. Mr. Hirsch, that's a completely valid point, but as Mrs. Abato is saying, Mr. Falciglia, should go to the person that controls the property and make sure that you bring this proposal to them.
Can the village of Suffern apply any pressure to the town of Ramapo?
Well, I think that if
In
you're
this
going on
vein?
this trip
That's
here,
why we're going on
Aside
a field
from
trip.
going to a meeting?
That's the best way to do it.
that's the best way to
Okay.
go.
I have another avenue. Deputy Mayor Corrigan and Jack Meehan were kind enough to meet with us 2 Mondays ago, I believe it was, and introduced themselves to a number of the residents of the village. At that meeting, we learned a number of things. It was very beneficial. A lot of our neighbors got to know them. At that meeting, Jack Meehan told the assembled crowd that his wife and Shelley Goldstein's wife are friends. Maybe you could talk to Shelley one night.
Well, excuse me, if you heard that, that's, my wife does not know Shelley Goldstein's wife.
Or Jeff Goldstein's, or one of the Goldstein's wives.
No, as a matter of fact, my wife, and I don't know why her name has been brought up, is actually a good friend. We were talking about someone else, a local engineer, and my wife and the local engineer's friend are both members of the Suffern Junior Women's Club, and they've known each other for about 20 or 30 years. And so, your facts are, I think that's...
Just another avenue that maybe we can explore.
Excuse me, but there's a big difference between Goldstein and this engineer's wife.
Well, I also learned at that meeting that there's a deal, you told us that I don't know who told you, but that Avon and Arco Management made a deal to purchase the property behind Avon. Is that correct? Am I recalling that correctly?
I think that Quarry Ridge has been in touch with Avon because...
Of course.
The proposal the preliminary proposal that Quarry Ridge shared with all the members of the board involved an easement, and involved the construction of a bridge over the Mawa River, and it would involve using Avon property land, so...
Of course.
I presume that they've had some
That's public. That's on the website.
It's on the website?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
That's on the website.
What is on the website?
The plans.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make sure,
read
again,
them.
I'm not trying to put words in Mr. Meehan's mouth, but I think it's important, again, like everybody to be factually accurate. There is a proposal they've made. That proposal contains an access point, which would be on Washington Avenue and would cross over Avon's property. So I think that that's to the extent that would be the case. Whether or not they've contacted them or to what extent...
Mr. Meehan told us that an agreement had been reached between Avon and Quarry Ridge to purchase that property.
I'm not aware of that.
Somebody on the planning board told me it's completely opposite.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that at all. All
right, well, then let's dispel the rumor.
I think we just continue, we're throwing out a lot of...
This is all hearsay, hearsay, and...
Yeah, I really think we can go on...
I understand. I'd like to propose one thing, so we don't have to go through this every month, because frankly, I'm getting tired of it too. Can we form a committee, and I don't know whether this should be of citizens in the village, with public officials, it's sponsored by the Village of Suffern, to examine alternatives to the present plan at the quarry.
What I want to do, this is the plan that I really have in my head, is I really want to start with going up to the town of Ramapo and getting the answers from the horse's mouth.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we can take it from there. And I'd like to revisit that sentiment that you just shared with us. I don't think it's a horrible idea, but again, we need to have answers from the town of Ramapo where they're going, because we could form as many committees as we want, but we don't have control over the property.
I understand.
So what we can do is we can go to the town of Ramapo, let's get the answers from him publicly, let's find out where they are, and we're not leaving without answers, and then we can go to the next step. I think what I really want to do is, and if you're watching, Chris, get ready, I really want to pin him down to somebody who's going to be a liaison for them, that we can contact directly to get the information instead of these empty messages.
Suffern does not have a liaison with the town around?
No, it's not that we don't have a liaison. I want a liaison specifically for this quarry project who has the immediate answers for us, who is up on exactly what's going on with that property.
That would make a lot of sense,
I think,
at this late date.
Right, so once we have that, we've tried, trust me, it's not for a lack of trying, but I believe if we go up to this board meeting, we go up in numbers, I'll prepare a statement with the questions that, everything that's come up here at the meetings. Please feel free to do so yourselves. And let's pin him down to giving us answers of exactly where they are at that particular moment with this project and what's going on with the property.
Thank you, Trish. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
And
again, thank you all for helping us out during the storm.
And since I'm on the phone with FEMA all the time on the 4 homeowners, I will see where that project sits.
Which one?
The project that they put in, that Mr. Carp was referring to, with the flood mitigation, with the pumping station and the quarry.
Okay.
Because they did put that in.
That's great.
Okay.
The federal funding?
Pardon me?
You mean the federal funding?
Correct.
I heard, did it go through?
Is there anything else? We have some people who are waiting who have other items on the agenda. Is there anything? Nope. Okay. Moving right along. Village Clerk.
Okay. First, we have the approval of the regular board meeting of October the 1st.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
We have a request from the VFW. Dear Mrs. Menschner, we would...
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We respectfully request to conduct the Veteran Days Parade on Monday, November the 12th, when both the VFW and the American Legion will conduct the parade. We will assemble at the Village Hall beginning at 10:30 a.m. and proceed to the Soldiers Monument for the 11 o'clock ceremony. The ceremony is scheduled to end at 12 noon.
Okay. I don't think we need to vote on that, right? Or do we?
Yeah, we have to give them permission.
Okay, sorry. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Okay. Next, we have a bill from Penflex. And this is for the standard service fees schedule. Last year, it was $4,700, and this year it's $5,100. You can explain that this is a
Service award program.
Service award program for the fire department.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Mrs. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion is carried.
Joe, can you
take over me for some, excuse myself. Thanks.
Terry, we have to line with the Terry.
Are they here? Virginia, are they here? Sorry. Are they here?
Watch that mob out. Okay.
Is there anyone here from Tasha?
They're here.
Yes.
Okay. Terry has the next item.
Okay.
Go ahead, Terry.
I didn't have to move, did I?
No.
I didn't think so.
I'm glad you moved.
The next item is the application for a live entertainment permit from Tatia. They propose live music Fridays and Saturdays from 8 p.m. to 2 p.m. and on Sundays from 5 p.m. to midnight. Karaoke Fridays through Sundays from 8 to 2 p.m. Well, I think that's supposed to be a.m., 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. And they also ask for the ability to provide for private parties and catering at all times.
Can I ask, who's here from, can you come up to the microphone? I just have a few questions. Yeah, all the stuff we talked about.
All right, so one of us can do it.
We're sorry you had to wait so long.
Good evening to the Village of Work. Yes, ma'am.
I have some questions for you. First of all, you're saying live music. What would that entail? Is that a band? Is that, what kind of live music?
Well, this is the second time we're requesting the permit. We already have 2 events in my place, and we did music. We play a small band.
Like 3 pieces?
How many band members?
Yeah,
5 people.
5 band members, okay. We need to, when we do the permits, we need to know, we need to specify how much, and that's all you can have.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what I wanted. So you're saying no more than 5?
No.
Okay. And what kind of music is it?
All kind of music, yes.
Okay. And then also, I don't know if you're aware, but we have a 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You have 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
That would have to be 1 a.m. And then also the other thing is the ability to provide for private parties at any time. We can't do that. You would have to do that as an as-needed basis. You would have to come and ask for a permit for that if it does not fall within the time constraints of what you have in your permit. So we can't just tell you, yeah, you can have music whenever you want for, whatever occasion you want to. You'd have to come and actually ask the board for special permission for that.
Yeah, that was in regarding to people that come to rent the place for particular parties, like...
Yeah, we can't just leave that an open door for you, though. That's something that would need approval. Unfortunately, we can't just, allow you to have music whenever you want to because it's a private party.
So if she has to have a party, then she has to come in and ask.
Right. If you have someone that comes in to have a party, then you need to come here and apply for a special permit to have music on that particular time, outside of whatever your permit is good for.
Okay.
Okay, and that's with every business. It's not just yours. That's just the policy of the village. Okay?
Okay.
So basically you're saying that it would be live music on Fridays and Saturdays, and it would be 8 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Yes.
Okay? And Sundays from 5 p.m. to 12 p.m.
11.
11.
No, it's 11 would be the most, that's our consistent policy.
With our policy, it's only till 11 on Sundays. Okay, so you would have Saturdays from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. and Sundays from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay? And then the karaoke sing-along Friday through Sundays
Yes, we will.
would be 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and only till 11 on Sunday.
Okay.
Okay? And then your ability to provide for parties and catering site at all times, that's something that we can't agree to.
Yeah, but you said that if I need to request a permit, we have to come here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come to the clerk's office and request a special permit.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So if I understand what you want, it would be approving the permit subject to and conditioned upon the following: live entertainment consisting of a band of not more than 5 individuals decibels, or karaoke on Friday evenings and Saturday evenings until 1 a.m., and for karaoke only on Sundays until 11 p.m. The mayor or police chief reserves the right to revoke the permit for violation of the terms of the permit, or if unreasonable disturbances are created at the premises. Noise shall not exceed 90 decibels at the property line, and the permit's not valid until the owner signs and returns a copy of a letter that will be sent to him from the clerk's office indicating that they're aware of those conditions and agreed to abide by them.
I will move that, and that just means that your permit is not, even if we approve it, until you sign the letter and return it to us, you can't start your live entertainment. Okay, so you will be getting a letter from the village clerk's office, you'll need to sign it, bring it back to her, and then you can start your live entertainment.
And I would suggest, normally we do these till the end of the calendar year, but since we're in November, that you would make this to the end of 2013.
That would be fine. That would be fine with me. So you'd have actually, you'll have like a year and a few months instead of just 1 year. We won't, usually in January, you would have to come back again to renew it, because you have to renew it every year. But we're saying we won't make you come back this January, you'll come the next January.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the...
So I will move it.
If you have any, tomorrow when you see Virginia, she'll go over everything all over again with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you again.
I'll second it.
And Jack second, and do I have to do roll call?
Trish made it, and you seconded it.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so we carry through.
Yes. Congratulations, good luck.
Yeah.
So,
No, I have one more thing.
okay, good.
I have one more thing. We have the return of unpaid taxes. Our village taxes were sent out in June, and now we have the opportunity to take the unpaid taxes, send them over to the county, which in turn pays us, and then they collect them in January. The amount of the taxes are $223,452.38. And the warrant has to be signed by the mayor and 3 trustees.
So moved.
Second.
Do I have to do roll call on this?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Ms. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carries.
Thank you. That's it.
And Tom, do you have a finance update?
Good evening, Deputy Mayor and Village Board. Just so you know, now that our computers are up and running, we were down last week, our annual audit has started as of today, and as of last Thursday, we sent out the water and sewer bills totaling approximately $1.75 million. And I'd like to thank the residents who have been coming in paying. I greatly appreciate it. And that's all I have for tonight, unless you have any questions.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Charles, did you want to continue on with anything, or are you done with your...
I've read the whole...
I crossed them off already.
Oh, you crossed them off already? Okay.
Yeah, I crossed off too.
You have them crossed off? It's unanimous.
He's out of there.
Crossed off. Bipartisan cross off. And the next subjects are all for Dagan, and I can't speak for what the mayor had on his agenda.
Yeah, you can.
do that, sure.
Yes, you can.
Approve the contracts.
Okay, so we have the approval for Chief Osborne and Lieutenant John Makowski's contracts.
Do you want to speak on the contracts? I think we've been over already, right? Okay, so I'll move them.
You fixed that paragraph?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Ms. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carried. Colleen Muller, 4% increase from $34 to $34.28 per hour.
And that's to actually just, do you want?
That is...
Yeah, there's no salary increase.
Yeah, no, Colleen has actually moved into a new position in the police department, so that would be That would be her salary at that position, and I will move it.
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Ms. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carried. Promotion to Dagan to maintenance helper at $23.42 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Ms. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carried. And promotion for Michael Alvarez to an MEO1 for $22.94 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Mrs. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carried. And to hire Daniel Horton as a laborer at $15.52 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Falciglia?
Yes.
Ms. Abato?
Yes.
Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carried.
I just have one quick comment, Deputy Mayor. I just want to say that how proud I was of this village through the last storm. I worked very closely with Chief Osborne and Mike Stark and their departments, and I have to tell you, I at no time felt panicked or unsafe in this village. I watched this village board come together and worry about each and every part of this village. You know, when it was Squires Gate, it was kind of a little different because we knew where we needed to be. During this storm, it was a matter of where do we need to be next? And it was really scary for me until I turned around and looked at Chief Osborne and Mike Stark and Dan Haglin, who always had this village completely under control. And I salute each and every one of them. Scott Brown is here from the DPW tonight. These guys worked tirelessly, never complained, filled sandbags, went to different...
4,000 sandbags.
4,000 sandbags. Went to different buildings than they're accustomed to working in, did whatever they were asked to do, and still worried even after that was done. So I guess I just want to say thank you. Joe Hunt, don't leave without me mentioning your name. Joe Hunt, thank you for all your tireless hours. This village pulled together once again. Fortunately, we didn't have what we had during Irene, but it was good to see everybody come together, and I'm so happy that we're able to reach out to the communities that reached out to us during our time of need.
I have nothing more to say. I can't add anything.
Okay. Move to adjourn.
Motion